From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast with Scott Sander.
Welcome to the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast. I'm Scott Sander. On this episode, actor and visionary entrepreneur Denim Richards stops by to chat about his success, both on and off the screen. Our team from Circulus Digital Media has tips on business owners using digital resources to increase the bottom line. And we sit down with two visionaries who came together to make this year's rally conference historic.
As a supporter of the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Show, Eskenazi Health is committed to working with minority-owned businesses to support the economic health and diversity of our community. Eskenazi Health encourages all prospective diverse suppliers to seek certification from a bona fide certification agency, preferably a local government entity, such as the City of Indianapolis or the State of Indiana. Learn more about our supplier diversity efforts and current opportunities available at eskenazihealth.edu/supplier diversity. Every business is unique and has a target audience. If you own or manage a business, Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble, offering best-in-class results, service, and support to reach a bigger customer base, allowing you to pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. Get outside the city, the state, span the globe. Put Circulus Digital Media to work for you. Get started now at circulusdigital.com. That's circulusdigital.com.
At the Rally Innovation Conference and in Empower Minority Business Week, there are movers, there are shakers, there are difference makers, but even among all those, some faces truly stand out. The success story for Business, Equity, and Opportunities today is a Hollywood famous face who's now making his way in the boardroom.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Success Story.
Denim Richards, I struggle to categorize you. Often we'll talk to an actor or we'll talk to an entrepreneur, we'll talk to somebody who's a globetrotter. You seem to be all of those things. Give us your sort of, life's path. What has led you to where you are now, though you don't seem to sit still very often?
Yeah, I definitely don't sit still very often, which didn't help me in school at all. But, I started as an artist from a very, very young age, and I loved to be on stage doing, theater, musical theater. Also trained as an opera singer. And then, finally got very fortunate to start really breaking into television and film. But I was learning very early on that just being an artist, being an actor was probably not going to be enough to bring enough value. I'm very big about the VA, the value addition to everything. And so I wanted to learn a little bit more about the business of entertainment. And so I started to learn a little bit more about the producing, and then naturally that kind of led into other entrepreneurial opportunities and real estate and all these other things. And so, yeah, that's how we kind of ended up. I'm very long-winded, so I'm really trying to give it to you in the way that I feel like is easy to digest. Here in the U.S., sometimes when I'm filming, obviously I think most people know the show Yellowstone by now. And so we're finishing up the last season of that. After 5 tremendous seasons, 7 years of being on that show. But I also live in Africa, between Botswana and South Africa, and have some companies there from, designer bags. We have a cigar company, wine, and then we also do real estate, and then I also have a production company there. So, we're trying to go, specifically in Africa, trying to also be that bridge between Africa and the United States, and then also help add more opportunities for people that are interested in investing over there as well. For the young entrepreneurs, I think it's two major things that I think are key. Is one, you have to work on something. So you have to have some type of income, because a lot of people have ideas, they write them down on a piece of paper, and then they can't ever bring those ideas to fruition because they think that idea is just going to make them money. And so the first thing I always say to entrepreneurs, go have a job, have some type of source of income so you can continue to funnel that dream. And then secondly, go through the whole process, right? You don't just get to turn a light on and then be successful. So there's a lot of process. It takes a long time. There's the thing where it's everybody wants to put everything in a microwave, but everything tastes better going into the oven. That's what entrepreneur is. It's going to take some time, but if you stay at it, you'll be successful. I think it's always fun to be, sometimes I feel as an entrepreneur, you feel you're oftentimes operating by yourself, right? Because it feels the world, a lot of people are just trying to just make it. And I think entrepreneurs are the ones that are like, we kind of want to do more than just make it. We want to break everything down and build it back up again. And so it's really exciting to be around that type of energy and to be able to have a couple of days to do that and build some great relationships. Because, you know, business is less about like what you know and more about who you know. And so having opportunities like this, I feel like definitely adds a lot of value. I think, you know, when you've failed before, you know, I think the more that you fail, the more that you learn, you know, and I don't look at failure as the negative. I look at it as like another way of figuring out what doesn't work. And then it gets you closer to what does work. And so I think that it's really a mental thing more than anything. But I also think that getting very focused, because sometimes you get people from the outside that are constantly telling you this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work. And I think you have to have some type of self-determination. And I think it's more important because you're doing it for something bigger, right? It's not enough for you just to do it for yourself. I think you have to be looking at it for a legacy, whether it's for your children, for your parents, for your last name, but just finding something that's a little bit bigger for yourself to give you something to kind of push you.
Does community factor into that as well? Do you want to make positive impacts on community?
Yeah, I think it's 100%. I think, you know, growing up, and then also when you look at kind of society over the last kind of hundreds of years, you look at what the opportunities have been, and sometimes you don't see a lot of that education being filtered into entrepreneurship. And I'm a huge proponent, especially when it comes to Africa and in the communities here, about saying that I believe that entrepreneurship and entertainment are the ways that we can actually galvanize and actually come out into, whether you're at a middle class or upper middle class or, you know, the uber wealthy, but, you know, all those people are entrepreneurs that are doing that. So how do we start to teach people and help them unlock that potential?
Do you still have that sort of curiosity about it and have an open mind that maybe there's something you can use?
Yeah, there's always a play. I always call them plays, right? Like, and I think, you know, for me personally, I'm a big person that like loves to learn. I'm always curious, which is why I love traveling so much. It says like traveling makes a man wise. And I believe that the more that you travel, the more that you get to see different opportunities and different ways to do things. And I think a business should never go against its own business interests. And so there might not be things that are necessarily within your verticals, but there might be other opportunities that you just didn't know about. So just absorb, and you come, you listen, do far more listening than you do talking, which is something that I still tell myself all the time, because I get so excited to talk about things. But I also have to remember that I'm in rooms where people know so much more than I do, and it will really benefit me to use the 2 ears and not the one mouth.
Permit us to turn the cameras on ourselves here on Business Equity and Opportunities for a moment. Circulus Digital Media, Circle City Broadcasting, that is who we are. And here at the Rally Innovation Conference, we're contributing to all of this as well as big parts of the tech sector.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities, running your business day to day.
Hi, my name is Nelson Spade. I'm the general manager of Circulus Digital Media. We're a full-service digital ad agency here in Indianapolis with offices in Houston as well. We're a certified minority-owned business. We're very proud of that. We help clients tell their story. Really, it's an intersection of telling their story with serving it to the right audience, all based on data-driven solutions.
I just finished a panel with the InnoPower Minority Business Week, where we talked about how to market your business with AI, you know, artificial intelligence. So, and also supporting the Rally Conference, because we see a lot of things, entrepreneurship, like this show. It's a lot of innovative and creative ideas that are coming and that are born out of conferences like these.
We've been involved with InnoPower for a few years now, great partners. We really like being here to help tell our story and help connect with other businesses to help drive their growth. We work with businesses really of all sizes, startups to Fortune 500, and there's a lot of differences, but there are a lot of commonalities, and the use of data in their business is paramount. So we're trying to help connect the dots.
The biggest myth is this, that I can do it myself. You know, if somebody told me, hey, all you got to do is use this platform and you can do it this way, you save money, those are the things that a lot of times it's waste. You know, it's waste and it doesn't benefit you. Where we look and try to consolidate all of that is understanding that each business is different in how you market to different people. That's some of the things you need to be thinking about with your story.
Everything we do from a media perspective, we're a full-service digital agency. Everything we do is based on data and using data to make decisions. Whether that is using AI to maybe help us refine something that we do, not to replace, but to refine. Maybe it's using machine learning and algorithms to make our campaigns work better on behalf of our clients, doing things faster that just a pure human hand could do. The opportunities are endless, and we're trying to make sure that small to large businesses know that's available to them via companies like ourselves, like Circulus Digital.
Since 2019 and 2020, there's a lot of different resources for minority-owned businesses and women-owned businesses, as we saw, to make it a more equitable playing field. That's the thing I say is do your research, do your homework. All of these resources that are out there are not necessarily for you or your business, but what I believe is once we start to level the playing field, a lot of people saw that we need to have a different lens that we look at these minority businesses. So I'd say as an entrepreneur, you need to make sure you do your research as much as possible to see if it's something that may benefit or fit your business to help grow or give you capital and different access to different things.
Our business is founded on our data partnerships. We have over 90 data partners, big names you would know of, smaller firms you have no idea exist. But our ability to reach people for our clients is founded in data. I'm going out to Denver in 2 weeks to attend what I'll call quality control training, right? It gives us the ability to keep refining our craft and learn how new technologies are helping our business grow, which then fuels our clients' growth as well.
The growth of minority businesses, right? I think when I look at my generation, we were always trying to get to the C-suites, right? Now this younger generation, they have the confidence to make that leap on being an entrepreneur. That excites me because you think of it, this is an innovative and tech conference. You have a lot of different ideas that'll be developed out of that, And a lot of times when we did that, we took our ideas to someone else and they benefited off of that. I love how this younger generation is looking at actually stepping out and being entrepreneurs at this point. That excites me because you never know 5-10 years from now what that playing field looks like for everyone.
We've been in the digital business since about 2009. We started when no one knew what digital even was. And where we are now compared to what we could do back then, it's extraordinary. What excites me is there's more overlap happening in how we help clients grow their business. There's more merging of platforms, more integrations. Does it make us faster? Can we maybe save a buck here for a client? Yes. But that constant evolution, it makes you stay on your toes. And for someone that likes to learn and refine their craft, it doesn't keep you stagnant day in or week out.
At the Indy Chamber, our aspiration is to help further Central Indiana's position as the fastest growing and most attractive market in the Midwest, and to make sure that all businesses and all residents have the opportunity to participate in that growth and prosperity. And we're doing pretty well in the Midwest. So over the last few years, Indy has led the Midwest in GDP growth. We've led the Midwest in job creation. We've led the Midwest in closing the racial equity gap around pay. So there's a lot of great momentum, but we're still way behind some of our aspirant markets across the rest of the U.S. There's still a lot of inequity. There's still a lot of opportunity to capture. So it's events like this, I think, thanks to Elevate Ventures, to IDC, and everyone behind Rally, and to InnoPower behind Minority Business Week, that make that aspiration bring it into sight. Incredible work happening these 2 days, but also incredible work happening the other 363 days of the year to advance Central Indiana's economy and the state's economy. If there's one thing we're good at here in Central Indiana, it's competition, and I think it's great. It's great to see whether it's the Indy Autonomous Challenge, which is coming up next week, where we're going to see autonomous race cars back on the track at IMS, or whether it's here at Rally with the business pitch competition. I think one of the largest, if not the largest, in the country. That's awesome, right? I mean, that's going to help us keep the competitive spirit alive here in Indiana, help us attract and bring more talent and business to the city. There's great momentum here in the city of Speed, and we're excited about taking that momentum and building it, and it's events like this, people like this, that are going to make that possible.
The words of a leader from the Indy Chamber about why all of this is such a success. We are on location at the Rally Innovation Conference and Minority Business Week through InnoPower. We talk a lot about those two, but what do they mean and why are they linked together? Nobody knows better than the founders. Toph Day from Elevate Ventures, Rally, and our longtime friend Emil Echior from InnoPower. How did you two link up, and why does this relationship work?
So I remember very vividly about 2 months after I came into Elevate Ventures, I got pulled into a meeting, kind of impromptu, and they're like, well, maybe Toph, you don't need to be there yet because we're still chatting about these partnerships potentially one day. And I'm like, well, who is it? And they explained, and I said, no, I'm going to be there. And I walked in, and I sit down. I had no idea what to expect. Emil starts talking. That's really where it started for me, was Emil started talking about your vision, about what you want to do with Empower, all the things you're working on. And it was a split second I knew that we were going to be best friends and that we are going to partner together. It's just how deep, right? That's kind of how I remember it initially.
Exactly. Normally when you have a vision and you have an entity as big as Elevate Ventures, even getting a meeting sometimes is hard, right? So what I do appreciate about Toph coming on board as CEO, in his early days, he was willing to take meetings and he was willing to listen to what are you trying to do, ask some tough questions. And at the end of the meeting, he said, you know what, this is so crazy because I have a similar vision for what can happen in this state. Mm-hmm. He said our state could be a destination. We'll have people coming to Indianapolis because of what we're building. And he's like, this is what I'm here to do. So as a former athlete, I love energy, and someone who brings energy into a game, a team. He just brought so much energy into the space. And the one thing I remember was his desire to listen. And the questions he asked us about, what do you guys want to do? What do you see yourself being? And then at the end of the meeting, he said, look, we're going to be best friends.
Seems to have worked. You seem to actually get along in addition to being able to work together.
Oh my God, I enjoy Emil so much. I feel like we've been friends for 10 plus years. It's a natural.
Talk about what he mentioned about your ability to listen. Now, when you're the person with the capital, whether it is financial, whether it's information,
yes,
whether it's access, how important is it to be a listener, to be a curious person?
The market is king, right? So the entrepreneur, the innovator, they lead the market, not investors. And investors don't lead the market. It's the people who are actually out there with the disruptive ideas that implement them. That's who we need to get behind. And that's how I truly think about it. I've never thought that just because you're an investor and you make an investment in something that you have a right to be on the board, even, for example. That company may not need your expertise. They might need sales expertise or technical expertise, or that person might be really good with a mature company and not a startup. So it's like, what is truly best? Let's take the egos off the table, and what is truly best for that person, that entity, that organization, the company at that point in time.
Exactly. Again, when you, like you said, when you have the check, right, a lot of times people become gatekeepers. Mm-hmm. They pick and choose who they meet with. They want to meet with just people that believe in their ideas. But true leadership is, I understand the power I have. I don't have to enforce that power, but I'm going to leverage that power to create access, right? And in our state, I think a lot has happened in a very short period of time since Toph has been at Elevate. The energy out of Elevate, not saying Elevate wasn't doing great things before, they were, but in a very short period of time, the things he said, like, this is what we're going to do, just like Rally. We're going to have this conference. We're going to have one of the best conferences in the country. People are going to want to come to Indianapolis, and sure enough, here we're in year 2, and it's happening. So I really appreciate that about just the leadership and just his whole team, right? When you meet with them, there's a desire to learn, there's a desire to listen to you. And what we needed in Indianapolis, or Indiana as a whole, was to create access for our minority entrepreneurs, to get our minority founders to truly believe, if I have an idea and I want to start to grow a business, it can really happen. And I think today, we're not there yet, but we are so much farther ahead of what we've been, where so many minority founders today are now bringing their ideas to the table, really feel like they can get support, and really feel like their business can grow. And not just here, we have founders coming in from out of state. So you know what, look at what you guys have in Indianapolis. We want to plug into this ecosystem. And we have this here this week, and it's amazing the number of people we have from out of Indianapolis, out of Indiana, that flew in to be a part of this.
I've known you long enough to know that I know Emil Ekiyor could make Emil Ekiyor a lot more money if that was his only focus. Why, though, is it important to you to make it a community thing?
It's no fun if you're the only one, right? It's more fun when you have people coming along with you. It's how do we do that, and the opportunity we have to do that today. Mm-hmm. I think that's what drives us. Indianapolis and Indiana has an opportunity today. That opportunity may not exist 5 to 10 years from now, but we have that today as the city is growing. And as the rest of the country is doing their thing, we have an opportunity to strike today, and that's what drives us. Let's do it now. The window could close on us, but as our city is growing, we can make this place very unique.
So what are the things that we're doing well? What are the areas that we still need to improve on?
I think about intentional connectivity.
Okay.
Like, let's get intentional about it. So Emil and I are really excited to establish a formal partnership, right, with Elevate Ventures, with InnoPower. So we are relocating our office downtown. So we felt like we needed a place in Indiana to have a physical, walkable location downtown. So when we're having major events, people coming from across the globe, to have a place where the innovation ecosystem can meet and exchange ideas and collaborate. And so we're moving our office downtown. We're going to move in mid-October timeframe. Okay. It'll be right across the street from Bicentennial Plaza, right near Gingrich Fieldhouse. And so we've intentionally thought about our space. So we're going to have our office. We're going to have an event meeting kind of area, training area that has access to a balcony that overlooks a plaza, and then a partnering space. And so we are super excited to announce that we are going to work with InnoPower as that first partner to physically establish intentional connectivity. Emil talks about he wants Indianapolis, he wants Indiana to be the black entrepreneurship capital of the world. Let's go. Let's do that.
So that's important, because for us, right, if you're a black founder, the space is not for InnoPower. We would not be there physically. I will be there, but the space is for our entrepreneurs. So now you have an office space right in the midst of all of the action. Right, we will use our space and create access for those entrepreneurs. So if you come from Atlanta and you want to come and experience Indianapolis, guess what? You have a space to walk into. If you come from Sub-Saharan Africa and you want to experience Indianapolis, you have a space to be, but your space will be right in the heart of all of the action. It's going to pay dividends. So we're betting on Indiana, we're betting on the next 10 years, and can't wait to sit back down with you in 10 years and show you where we are.
Your smiles answered this last question before I even ask it, but I do want to know. The future, this seems like a success, yes?
Yes, a raving success.
Hey, I'm riding with my guy, man. Hey, let me say this, right? When you see what has happened, I keep going back to a short period of time. This year alone, we have had over 8 black founders receive investment checks of $50K or more. Okay. We've never had that before, right? Where they can really feel like they can come in, pitch to the Elevate team, and genuinely, right, get support, get investments. So the future is so bright for what we can do here, and the timing is so perfect, and the timing is now.
Our thanks again to all the contributors who joined us for this episode of the Business Equity and Opportunities podcast. We hope you found it enlightening, useful, and inspiring. You'll find more information about the show on our website, BEOshow.com. You can watch Business Equity and Opportunities Sunday mornings at 10 on Wish TV, or live stream it through wishtv.com. Each week we provide 7 full segments with topics ranging from how to get started and how to access capital to the day-to-day running of your business and questions about accounting and bookkeeping. We feature business news and trends and always share a success story from one of our contributors. Join us next time for more insights into the world of small business. Be sure to sign up for our Business Equity and Opportunities newsletter to get even more valuable, up-to-date information. And if you have any questions or you'd like to be part of our show, please email us. The address is beo@wishtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Scott Sander. Thanks for listening.
Watch the Business Equity and Opportunity Show on Wish TV and access all of our content and share it on demand anytime at BEOshow.com. You can find more podcasts from Wish TV on the All Indiana Podcast Network at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.